Hey everybody, welcome back to another printed performance video. And it's been a while since I've posted, but I've been waiting on some parts, getting a whole lot of stuff done. But as you can see, I've been kind of hard at work here. So, we got a new front fuel cell from PLM. This is actually for an EG or EK Civic. It does not fit the EF, but we're just going to go ahead and make it work. I did weld up this tab right here on here to try to bolt here on this side with the filler neck going through this hole right here. But that just put it way too close to this tire. When I put this tire on, it was just way too close. I couldn't even turn the wheel that far. So we're going to move forward, cut this little section of metal out right here. Then I'm going to have to do an S-curve for this filler neck right here, so it comes up right about S-curve on this filler neck here, so it comes up right about here. So that'll save us quite a bit of room. And then I've already got this marked to be cut out, and then that's where the boost pipes or the charge pipe's going to come off the turbo down to. And I got a bunch of pie cuts in here that I ordered. Got another bag over there, but we're going to try to get that snake down through there. I don't know how much room we're going to have. Probably going to have to redo these fuel lines and everything just to get them out of the way, because I need as much room as I can for that pipe to go down in there. And also got my roll cage materials delivered. I got this one bar cut and notched and everything. It's just kind of sitting up there with the ratchet strap. And then also got a staging brake. So I don't know if you guys remember last time at the PFI Speed Fest, but I was pulling that parking brake as hard as I could, and if I did a two-step and preloaded the clutch, it would just pull me straight through. It wouldn't matter how hard I pulled on that parking brake. So got a hydraulic staging brake, gonna plumb that into the back wheels, and then so to get rid of all these brake lines here, all these gotta go. Brake proportioning valve, probably just saw that because it's apparently a hot ticket item. So yeah, we're gonna rip out all this, and so the brake pedal will just operate the front wheels, and the handbrake will just operate the back wheels. So yeah, and since we got this fuel cell going up here, also got a fuel pump. This is probably where it's going to end up being mounted. Still trying to figure out a better spot to put it if we can, but I just don't have a lot of room in this thing, so there's a lot going on here. So but today I'm going to try to get the rest of the roll cage bars all cut and put in here. I got to do another one of these bars down here, right here, going across, and then I'm going to do some diagonal bars going down. I was going to use these plates, well, these plates to the floor right here, but if I did a diagonal bar going down from here to here, there wouldn't be a whole lot of angle on it. I just don't have a lot of room. My friend Zach, he has an EF Civic, and his cage is serted, and what he has is just the bar going across from this side to that side, and then the diagonal bars going down to it. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So I got to work on, got a lot of stuff to work on today. I'm trying to get as much done as I can, but I'm just going to get this thing up on 4 jack stands so she's nice and flat. And got to pull out the stock fuel tank at the back. She's going to go. The reason I'm doing that fuel cell up front because it just removes so much weight off the back. Helped me get those 60 foots a lot better. These things are all right on 60 foots right now, but we're trying to get it a lot better. I'm gonna start cracking on this, and we're gonna see how things go. Get as much done as I can today. This is like my only day off, so let me get working. everybody got that little notch. I got it in, leveled out, and measured. I got it, and then all we gotta do is some angle bars down from here down to about right here. I'm gonna leave a little gap in between the two bars right here, just to help me weld, and also so we don't have to get it absolutely perfect. You know, Mike's here. He's gonna go ahead and cut off and measure it out to 31.5 inches. It's gonna be the long side of the bar, and then we'll just 45 notch it inward, because the turned out pretty nice, because the height difference, or the height between here and here is 21.5 inches, and then I'm sorry, 21 inches, and then the distance from here to here is 21.5 inches, so that makes it almost exactly a 45-degree angle. Make our lives a little easier, and just still pounding away at it.
Yep, just cleaning tools, getting these ready.
All right.
Now we'll go cut that, and yeah.
Borrowed some TPU from a friend, this 3D printable rubber stuff, and I'm making these little bushings right here just to help out with the cushioning on the engine mount that I made right here, because I don't want the engine block snapping or anything like that. And you know, this stuff is really hard, but I can actually vary its hardness by how dense I print it, so that'll make things a little easier. So if I need to make them a little softer, I can. Alright guys, check it out, not too shabby. Line up nicely. Right with the marks we made. There's a little bit of a gap there. I'll have to fill in with the welder, but that's fine. But I got the welder all set up and turned on, gas turned on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just tack weld all those in place, make sure it's solid, then we'll go around and weld them all up, and that'll be it. Actually, this is going a lot easier than I thought. Knock on wood. Yep. Alright guys, so I went ahead and sanded down all the areas we were going to weld, or I was going to weld, but and I got it all tacked in, plus I got quite a bit of welding actually done. Well, you know, got all that welded. It's not the prettiest, but it will pass tech, you know. Not too bad actually, it's looking pretty good. I welded this all down here. I got around as far as I could, but eventually I just can't see. I'm going to wait to do under there till my tungsten on my TIG is a little shorter. That way I can put my low profile handle on there and then really go to town on it so I get around the corner. But I'm going to go ahead and go to that side now, and I'm going to see how much of this I can get done. I didn't realize how difficult welding inside of a car was. Like, I know how to weld, but now I'm trying to do it, and it is literally car yoga. I'm having to flip around all different directions, and plus on top of that, my TIG pedal at the same time, I have to have that in a spot where I can hit it, and that has been rather difficult. So I'm doing as much as I can while standing out of the car just to make it easy, but eventually I'm going to have to get in the back there, and I'm going to have to do some really funky stuff. But I'm going to keep on kicking, and I'll see you in a little bit. morning. Got that all 100% welded. Took a couple days, but there were some really hard spots. Really sucks because the prettiest weld I did right here, no one's actually ever gonna see that. It one came out really good though, even though it was like really hard to get to. You know, some of the other welds don't look so pretty, but they are really strong. I went over them, a couple times just to make sure they're gonna be good. But she is all set on that, and I also went ahead and took out the fuel tank back here. So there was a lot of fuel now. I took over 10 gallons out of it. I was really surprised. Apparently it was full. That was a lot of weight, but now that's a whole lot of weight. Not to mention that thing had to have about 2 or 3 gallons in it just for the fuel to pick it up. So that was a whole lot of extra weight I was lugging around in the back of this thing, and that is gone. So I'm still jamming on this. Like I said, it's taking me a few days because I'm working, but got the fuel line set up, almost figured out. I'm probably gonna have to end up mounting the pump right here in the front, attach the filter straight to it, and just run that off the tank over here. Then I'm going to make a little bend around the corner here to go back and then up to the feed line. So, but I'm jamming, and whew. So all that's really left to do is take out the transmission and start working on that. Spent almost all night last night getting this ready to pull out, and now she is ready to pull with the mount taken off. This transmission is a bit heavy for a Honda transmission, so we got a jack underneath it to help us out, and we can't really get underneath it to lower it very well. So we're just gonna put this on here. No.
And we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, we're just gonna go for it.
We'll figure it out. You guys gonna see how it happens. We don't know, but it's gonna happen.
This is the first time I've ever tried to take the transmission out of this thing without taking the whole engine and everything out. So we're gonna see how well this goes. Alright, that wasn't so bad actually. Went ahead and took the fender off just for safety, don't want to crack it. But this mount already coming in handy. I'm going to go ahead and start ripping this thing apart. We're going to go ahead and replace the 4th gear synchro, which I have around here somewhere. But I'm going to rip this apart. I'm going to see what we can figure out. Oh yeah.
Look like you got oil in it. Now I can probably get that Mac bearing with this one.
Hold on. Putting pressure on it. Alright guys, got her all taken apart and got the gear set out. I took reverse out, put the gear set back in just to make it easier to disassemble, so it has a place to sit, because I can't just slide this input shaft out of the cuff. You actually have to disassemble around it, because these guys right here hit each other if you try to slide this off. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that, and all we got to do is replace this synchro right here, this little sync, because that's the one that was causing me problems on the racetrack, and that's why she money shifted, because I tried to stab it down into 4th gear and it just wouldn't go, and eventually just went into 5th gear for some reason. So I will start working on that, and I don't know, it's gonna be a little tricky. We'll see how this goes. Oh yeah, and just a quick heads up to everybody, this right here is a reverse thread bolt on the end of this shaft, so do not go pounding on it like all tomorrow. I started cranking on it and then I remembered, oh yeah, I saw this little arrow right here. That means it's a reverse thread bolt. So that's a Honda thing. So, but got that off. And I just gotta start working off this bearing right here. Should just be able to slide it off. Might have to heat it. It's a little finicky. Alright. Oh, that kind of hurt my neck. Yeah. There it goes. All right. Now I can pull this all apart without any worries. Slide that over. All I need is access. I'll just pull it off. All right. Now I can work on the counter shaft easily. I can smack this off here. Yep. A little tap. That's 5th gear right here. Fifth gear synchro. This is 5th gear. Divider and 4th gear. Nice little double synchro, which I'm sure is toast. It doesn't look too bad, but I'm going to replace it anyways because I have. Alright guys, so got the new synchro here. It's a double synchro, as you see. It's got an inner and an outer with a cone in the middle that locks into these 3 holes here. And really all I got to do is take it. I like to keep my finger right there on where that notch is, so I can just take that and it just lines right up. And that's about as easy as it gets right there. And then just take this guy. Just set it on there. This guy goes in between. And then I can just go ahead and stack the rest of this back together. Alright, then the 5th gear synchro, which is just a single. We got the selector collar. Not really sure if that's its actual name, that's what I call it. Yeah, it's gone. A little more. Sometimes they require just a little encouragement. Just do a little more, make sure it's down all the way. Now, after I get all this gear set back together, I am actually going to take this casing. I'm going to take it all out. Then I'm going to take this casing down to the car wash. I'm going to blast it out because it's got a lot of this stuff in it. This is from the carbon synchros. It comes off over time, and I also clean off the magnet just to get it all nice and good. But there we go. Get a little bit of encouragement. I get it again. All right. Alright. Keep them all neutral. Make sure they spin good. Beautiful. Okay, it goes on a lot easier than it comes off. Once again, this is a reverse thread. So it's got it's a very fine thread too, so you gotta try to line it up as best you can. Put this in gear and also put that in gear so it locks the two. And why not do all three of them while we're at it? Keep the shaft locked. And that's tight. Okay. Don't worry, the input shaft bearing sticking to the shaft is quite normal. Kind of nice actually, because it pulls it out for you in case you have to replace it. But I'm not. I'm just leaving that right there. That's going to cut it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Learned something new today about the J-Series transmission. It is just a little different than your average Honda transmission. Very different. It's different from the K, it's different from the B, it's different from all of them. It's just got its own little niche way of coming apart and going back together. But that's gonna have to cut it for this video, like I said, and you all have a good one. Peace.